It's the amazing Jane Searle.
Hello, everybody. Right, this is weird. Okay, holiday. At the moment, we're all going nowhere. The world has shrunk. Well, certainly in terms of holidays. And yet, when I was growing up in the 1960s and 70s, holidays didn't exist outside Northern Ireland very much anyway. When it was announced that my primary 7 class were going to Majorca for a week as a school leaving holiday, it sounded dead exotic. I rushed home with my letter to give to my mum and dad, only to be met with a long silence, dotted with a few heavy sighs and hmms. It's only £39, I pleaded desperately. Everyone will be going. My mother, who would never have disappointed me lightly, put down the letter and poured me a Ribena. It wasn't looking promising. Look, Jane, your daddy and I haven't even been to Spain, she said gently. It's not Spain, it's Majorca, I replied, and Mummy looked over at my father, who just shook his head. Majorca is an island of Spain, she replied. But anyway, the real point is it's a daft place to go with 11-year-olds, and it's expensive, and well, we can't pay for another holiday. Your daddy and I have booked a week for us to go to a guest house in Douglas in the Isle of Man in July. We have to go on a big boat to get there, and it'll just be like going abroad. She spoke quickly, and then there was a break before she continued quietly. We just can't manage both, love. Daddy butted in loudly. What sort of bunch of teachers are they to go to Majorca? School trip. Our £39 will be getting them a free week of lying by the pool and going to the bar at night. Shush, Sam, Mummy waved her hand at him. The child's upset. Can't you see? I ran upstairs to my bedroom, the tears tripping me, and flung myself on my bed. Now I would be left in school with all the other saddos and no-hopers for a week of library work and colouring in. I was devastated. I love to tell you that in the end they changed their mind, or that the ones that went had a horrible time, but sadly neither is true. I got to sit for a week in a warm classroom in June with about 6 other losers and colour in the United States of America. I still think of Florida as the yellow state. When they all returned, tanned and full of chat, Mr. Hunter, the teacher, got them to make up memory scrapbooks. They stuck in everything. Airplane stubs, menus from the hotel, photos of everyone diving in the pool, and bloody paper napkins from some amazing ice cream shop called Gionaldi's on the beach. We got to continue with the seats. As you can see, I hold no bitterness for this disappointment, and as my mother had so wisely reminded me, our holiday was yet to come. July that year wasn't great, and we just about packed for all eventualities in the weather. Sun hats, shorts, sweaters, anoraks and wellies. Mummy packed the cases and Daddy packed the car. He should have worked for NASA. He was very spatially aware. He knew if you tried to put the wee blue case in on its side before you packed the large grey one with the dodgy handle, then you wouldn't have a hope for the Scottish tartan hold-on. It was an art. All packed, we got the ferry for Douglas and the rain held off so we were able to sit on the deck. The heads were blown off us, but if we went downstairs, I threw up. Those were the days when you actually felt like you were on a boat, and my stomach didn't cope well. When we docked, I was both dehydrated and smelling of sick. Mummy had wiped me down with a wet towel, but the change of clothes was in the car, in the wee blue case. So there was no hope of a change until we got to the guest house. I clearly remember feeling like we were abroad in the Isle of Man. Emma asked Mummy if they used different money. She was only 9. And then if they drove on the same side of the road here. God love her. The guest house had been advertised in the Belfast Telegraph and it was supposed to have a sea view. Daddy had booked a family room, a double bed and 2 singles squeezed into the one room with a sink in the corner. It looked out onto an oil tank, but if you went into the hall, you could just see the sea from the window. There was a bathroom down the hall for all the residents on the floor. In the morning, Daddy gave us his usual speech about breakfast. Now listen, girls, you eat whatever is put in front of you. I've paid for this cooked breakfast, and if you eat it all now, you won't be whinging for biscuits at 11 o'clock. Those cafes on the promenade are dear, and I'm not made of money, so eat all round you at breakfast. It wasn't a request, it was an order. Emma and I were picky eaters, but we didn't dare decline a thing. In the downstairs breakfast room with the checked tablecloths and walls of plates commemorating members of the royal family, we endured our own all-you-can-eat torture chamber. Starting with porridge, followed by half a grapefruit, whoever decided they were a fruit, and then the fry, egg, bacon, mushrooms, tomato, sausages, beans, and toast. The toast was brought to the table in a toast rack, a device we had never seen before. In our house, it made its way straight from the toaster to the plate. I feel like I've eaten a slug, Emma said to me quietly. That'll be a mushroom, I whispered back. Just eat a big spoonful of beans after it and it'll slip down. Breakfast over, we headed out to explore. It was a day for anoraks and Daddy wasn't too happy. Molly, what did that woman at breakfast say about the weather tomorrow? Maybe we'd be better staying in today and saving our strength for a better day tomorrow. Saving our strength? What do you mean, Sam? My mother sounded frustrated. We aren't exactly climbing Everest. We're only going to take the children for a walk along the front. By the time we got down to the sea walk, it was blowing a gale and the rain was pelting us with hailstones. It was indeed dangerous. Half an hour later, we were back at the guest house with the anoraks on the radiators and Emma and I lying on our beds with the Bunty and Mandy comics and 2 packets of Rebels. If it stays like this, we might as well have gone to Portrush. At least the children could go to Barry's there, my father said. He wasn't one for optimism. Look, Sam, if it's still wet tomorrow, there's a huge big inside adventure park called Summerlands at the end of the prom. We can go there. It's got roller skating, mini golf, dodgems. It makes Barry's look like a shed. But I bet it'll be a nicer day. In the morning, we pulled back the curtains and we could barely see the oil tank. The sky was dark and heavy with clouds. Suffering duck. Daddy took a step back in horror. The heavens are about to open. Maybe it'll clear up later, Mummy said positively. Nope, that's here for the day, Molly. That's going nowhere. We'll get the children a few colouring books after breakfast and watch TV in the lounge. I think the test match is on the telly. Mummy sighed, but it was another day indoors. The next morning, when we looked out, it wasn't exactly beach weather, but it had stopped raining and things were looking up. After the breakfast, we headed out without the anoraks. I got a big dressing down for leaving half my porridge, but it was all forgotten by the time we reached the park. Daddy loved seabirds, and as we sat on a bench, watching them swooping down to pick scraps off the ground, he pointed out the elegance of the seagulls. That's Sammy Seagull, he said, pointing to a rather grand-looking one. What's that one called? Emma asked. That's Sammy too, he laughed. They're all Sammy Seagull. Same name as you, Daddy, we giggled. Indeed so, he smiled. The next day, the sun shone and we made the beach. By Wednesday, the rain was back, but we went to the Summerlands. Emma and I had never seen anything like it. An incredible glass-like structure. It had floors and floors of games and music and people. Finally, it felt like we were somewhere better than Majorca. I would be able to go on everything and take pictures to stick in my memory scrapbook. In fact, Emma and I were so amazed by the Isle of Man that we started our scrapbooks when we were still there. Postcards from the big wheel at Ramsey, ticket stubs from the trams, the programme from the variety show with Max Bygraves in the theatre, and photos of us on the rides at Summerlands. There was even a space where we sellotaped in napkins from the guest house. They were works of art. Strangely enough, even though Mummy was a sentimental treasure keeper, these scrapbooks did not survive the years, though the memories do. And well, to this day, I have never been to Majorca, and it looks like my next holiday may well be in Galway if I'm lucky. Mind you, I'm not complaining, as long as I can just have a coffee and a croissant for my breakfast. Thank you.
Jane, thank you so much. Thank you. Gosh, you were posh. Isle of Man, I mean, my goodness. There was 7 of us in a 2-bedroom cottage with a chemical toilet in Anna each year. Oh my goodness.
This is us. This is us. Can you see?
Oh, brilliant. Yes.
This is me and this is my sister. And then this is, actually, I found this today or the other day. It's a postcard my mother sent from that holiday to my auntie. I couldn't believe it. I actually found this postcard and it says on it, no food to cook, no washing up, no daily chores to do, enjoying myself. I'll say I am. I ask you, wouldn't you?
That's fantastic. And it's lovely to see so many Searles scattered all over the place.
My wee fan club, my wee family, all in lockdown.
Listen, thank you so much, Jane. Lovely to see you.
Thank you.